achieve success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne or...
Yay! We're live. I think we're live somewhere. We're live on YouTube. We're live on LinkedIn. I don't know. I have no idea. But we're here finally. My friends are here. I'm in heaven now. I'm not steaming anymore, as Michael LeBlanc would tell me I'm doing, right? Welcome, Sean. Welcome, Dr. Yvonne. Welcome, Mr. Cyrus. Oh, what fun we had planned. Dr. Roxana, I see you, of course. And Halle as well. Halle may come back. I was doing something really important, Sean, when you were saying, where are you, right? I was trying to explain to Dr. Yvonne and Cyrus. See, I took on a mission to download and send one of my friends' recordings of our live event, right? And it's just been a pain. Right?
They can't hear me.
I can hear you, so I'm gonna mute you. That way I can't hear you. Anyway, so I tried doing this 2 days ago. I put it onto. You're on mute now. It's fine. That's what you got. So I did. So 2 days ago, I put it onto my Google Drive. It went on after a good couple of hours. That's not fast these days, right? It's a 2-hour recording. So it went on there. I'm like, job done. She's like, I can't hear any sound. I'm like, I can hear sound. So it turns out the encoding at .mov does not work on her computer. So now I must turn it into MP4. So I use my video converter to turn into MP4. All night it gets to 99.5% and then crashes. I'm like, what the F? Really? So I got to this morning, I'm like, something's got to give, right? So I realized that something was outdated. Either my program, I had to get reinstall it, or something was wrong. Turns out my computer's too old for that software, so it stopped working. Why not tell me the first minute I'm not gonna work? So I had to download another one. Then I found an online version thing. So trying to upload about 4 gig onto an online platform never worked. A night went by. Then I found a new software today. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna work. So I was on 97% when Sean was messaging me saying, "Any go live." I'm like, no, I'm not gonna turn this off and start again. No.
It's like you invite me and I'm like, where is it?
Well, it's done now, Sean. It got 100%. So
Windows?
No, Mac.
What? You're on Mac.
Yeah, the Mac
Which
is
version of OS?
10.15. It's old.
Okay, so you got, yeah,
it's a bugger.
It was painful to watch, to be honest, and it was painful to watch.
I'm sure it was, but Sean knows my pain. Mac has
honestly, it was like watching my dad downloading Metallica MP3 in 1999. It took half a day. Bloody hell, mate.
No.
Sean, I've seen you. I've seen Sean for the second time today. First on Substack and now here. Sean, we need to stop meeting like this.
No, keep meeting like this. Keep meeting like this.
But Cyrus,
I can't hear Sean
today, but I haven't seen you in.
Is he on mute?
No, he's talking. You can't hear him. I can hear him. Hopefully, our friends can hear him.
Let's exit and come back again. Then. I'm sorry.
Anyway, Annie, I know your pain because I had a 2012 MacBook with 10.15. And I was getting warnings, Chrome won't update anymore. Yeah. And every time I tried to do anything with video, nightmare.
Yes.
After 4 weeks in customs, last Friday I got my new machine.
Goodness me.
The new M4 Pro.
Wow. Which operating system have you got now?
Sequoia.
Yeah. Oh, that's new. There's a newer one, by the way.
Right, Tahoe. So I have Sequoia, but I purposely bought. I was looking at the M5 versus the M4 Pro, and because I do so much on video. I said, get the M4 Pro because it can render much better. But until you get your new machine,
yes,
go to handbrake.fr.
Okay, what's there?
It's a video tool that it was my lifesaver. It can do two things. One, it can easily convert.
Sorry, that's me.
You can switch MOV to MP4 or vice versa, and you can shrink file size as well without losing quality.
Wow.
Yeah, it can handle MP4, MKV, WebM, AVI, all of it.
I refuse to be forced to get a new Mac. I almost got a new Mac the other day, right? I looked at it, sure. I looked at it and I thought, ooh, a cool £1,000 and a bit more. My computer's working just fine. Except where Apple says, I don't want you to use the software that you have. And Apple essentially they're trying to force us into getting a new system.
They're not the only ones. Every tech company out there, it's planned obsolescence.
Yes. Yes, and I think it's criminal, right? I found the software that works on 10.15, so I'm all right for a second. Let me see how I live with that, right?
Yeah, Handbrake works all the way back to 10.13.
Okay, that's a video program, right?
Right. It's a video compressor and they call it a transcoder. So it can convert from one format to another and reduce file size, because that's the thing. Video. I uploaded my podcast episode with Dr. Paula Washington.
Yeah.
And because we were both in a hotel, I couldn't use my normal studio because it has no virtual background. And I should have come to StreamYard. Didn't even think about it. We used Google Meet.
Oh, no.
And that darn video file is 3 gigabytes.
Huge. It sounds like they're finding ways to make the file size smaller. That's one of the things that bugged me, because the file size, the media file gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Our storage doesn't get bigger. Our storage is still crummy. 1 terabyte doesn't really last a year these days, right? It's ridiculous. What do we to do? My phones are overloaded with God knows. When there's some stuff I put on this, what stuff I get from other people who share pictures and videos. You're like, damn, my storage is finished. Anyway, let's welcome our friends. Let's have a conversation I want to have today. I'm excited, but I'm scared at the same time. So let me do me for a second, right? Dr. Lisa, welcome. Great to see you. Mr. Rochelle, I've sent you the link to your DM. If you want to join the studio to share with us, I'd love to have your thoughts, because you are maybe at the level of company that we're talking about today. I shall explain all when I do my introduction, and hopefully you join the conversation. Linda, welcome. So I have shared the link to join the studio, and the link is also on the event page and the comments. William keeps getting, he calls himself Bill, keeps getting knocked out. It happens. I don't know. StreamYard and LinkedIn weren't talking yesterday at all, so my show just didn't go live on LinkedIn. I know Sean was there messaging me, I'm sure, if I remember rightly. And I just thought, I can't do anything about it, so I started sharing my YouTube link, and it worked. I got a few friends. Dr. Yvonne went there, for example. So thankfully we have other options, is what I'll say. So a year, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we didn't have any other option. It was LinkedIn or nothing. You'd have to put messages out saying, sorry, event cancelled. But I just thought, no, let's go to my YouTube. And it worked. Milan, welcome. Milan's Cat, is that your real name? I don't know. I have no idea, right? That was strange. So on LinkedIn, we have real people, and we know who they are. But welcome, my friend. Welcome. April, I see you. Where have you been, April? But you're here. That's an important thing, right? Tyrone, welcome as well, my friend. So Bill says, hello, Sean. Superb. So John, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Happy Wednesday. Happy holidays. We're not there yet. I'm stopping work on Friday night, Saturday, on the 20th. That's my Christmas break, right? Yay! Well, my Christmas work quietly, no events thing. I might do one on Monday. I don't know, but I'm gonna have a break this year and actually have a proper break. I got other things to do, otherwise I'll be somewhere else. Meryl, welcome. Yes, Meryl, finally. If you missed my explanation of what was going wrong, but it had to happen, Meryl. I had to do what I had to do, right? It's done now. I can send Sandra her video, so I'm at peace with myself. Dr. Roxana, welcome too. So glad to see you all. Now, welcome, my friends. And so, what's your Christmas plans, my friends? Let's ramble on about tonight. What does Christmas hold for you? Sure, let me start with you because we can see you. Then I go to Dr. Yvonne. Then I go to Cyrus.
So we've melded Christmas traditions from our American childhood traditions. We've implemented our own family traditions, and we have adopted some of the local traditions. So we do the traditional, the house is all decked out with the little ceramic village and the Christmas tree and the stockings and all that. And we will give my son a few presents, probably do some exchange. Well, my MacBook was part of my Christmas present.
You've done well.
Then the tradition is the night of the 24th in Guatemala, you often have your meal, and at midnight, you go outside and the skies are filled with fireworks. And a few different years, I actually had some fireworks we could launch off ourselves. And then the 25th is pretty quiet around here. We just kind of chill and relax. Although we have a tradition with my son, my wife bakes a cake and we sing "Happy Birthday" to Jesus.
I like this. I like the sound of that. Well, there's no going outside on Christmas Eve night here because it's freezing cold, right? And the US is cold as well, I imagine. Yeah.
But in Guatemala, it's not.
Yeah, I was talking to Alavine yesterday. She said they eat lychee, like the plants, like the fruits, lychee. I'm like, for Christmas? He goes, yeah, that's what we do for Christmas. I'm like, I never heard of that. Everyone does it a bit different, right? But you're not working, Sean. You're going to take time off, right?
Yes.
Excellent. I think we all should. I don't know what's going to happen to our friends if we do, right? Dr. Yvonne, share with us. How are you going to spend your Christmas? What's the plan?
Hi.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm in the kitchen. I'm cooking. So, what are the plans for Christmas? Well, people that know me know that I'm Caribbean. So, we start early with we have a fresh bread that we make and a fresh bun that we make. Bun is like a spiced bun with a lot of, like raisins and currants and things like that are soaking in rum and red wine for months before we make our black rum cake. And so I'm doing everything traditional from our culture. And because I was raised in the United States, not obviously, but I'm in the Midwest. So a white Christmas is important to me. I want to see the snow. There were some years that as a child we did go back home to the islands for Christmas, but there's nothing like the snow, honestly, for Christmas. I cook extravagant meals, a lot of it with the traditional Caribbean or Jamaican foods. And then I also do things like leg of lamb and the roast, that kind of stuff. We do the fried fish, which is not deep fried for us, but it's fried crispy on each side. It's called escabeche, and we serve it with our bread. And then we have our big meal. And I have 3 beautiful children, They're all going to be home, and I'm super duper excited. And I don't have any grandchildren or anything yet. So I have grand fur babies. I have a grand fur baby dog and a grand fur baby cat. And then I have a son that's a cat. So all of us are going to get together with my 3 regular babies and my little fur babies. And yeah, and then we open one present Christmas Eve. And then we open the rest of the presents on Christmas Day. And we fill the house with music, especially reggae, and a lot of the old Christmas songs. And when I was a kid, my mother used to always perform the Christmas songs because she has a classically trained voice, and she used to perform on PBS um, on Christmas Day. So that's what's going to happen for us. So I'm super duper excited about my Christmas this year. That's it.
Sounds like fun. I wonder whether you dress your pets up for the occasion. Don't do it.
Sweaters.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. You know, what you do is traumatize them. My dogs don't get that. I'm just trying to ignore them. You know, it sounds like fun in your house, though. Coach David, talk to us. You keep falling off the stage, so let's hope Nigeria internet keeps right and the holds. Talk to us quick whilst you're here, my friend. How are you, Coach David? Coach David. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello. Hello. I'm good. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, we hear you well.
Hello, am I audible? Audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Oh, I'm good. Miss you guys.
we're still here.
Apologies that I've not been on the live course for a while.
Yeah, we're
still thanks so much. Apologies I've not been on the live call for a while.
When are you back to UK?
All right.
No, when are you back to? When are you back
Great to see everyone on the call, Sean.
So you can't hear me.
Yeah, no. I'm in Africa right now. I'm in South Africa right now.
Oh, cool. Okay, now so what's
in
Christmas?
January? I'm back to the UK in January.
Cool. Okay,
so I can hear you.
What's Christmas for you?
I'm back to the UK in January.
So how are you going to spend Christmas? Do you know?
Yes. What's Christmas for me? That what you said?
Yeah. Yeah, Coach, carry on now. What are you going to do on Christmas Day? Do you know? Is it still a mystery? Oh no, Nigerian internet is always a beauty. Okay, let's go to Mr. Whisper Boy. Of course, I see Jay's joined us. How you doing, Jay? It's a packed room of superstars. That's the idea, Jay. That's the idea, right? Again, it's my 2026 major change starts now, which is I want to be more intentional about who comes to our rooms. If you look at my descriptions these days, you see it says who my events are for. Now, does that mean I'm going to get exactly who I want? Maybe not, but at least I can. Sean, I'm sure you can understand that I can manifest the people I want. The more I think about them, the more I wish them to come along, the more they will come along, right? Some rooms are going to be slow and small to start off with, right? April, we have a topic. What's today's topic, says April? Before I go to Cyrus quickly about his Christmas plans. Right. See, I've been reading a book, my friends. My books inspire me, right? I've been reading a book, Good to Great, by someone called Jim Wilson, Jim Morrison? No, Jim Collins, that's his name, right? How do we go from good to great? See, I guess we think it's a million different things. But old Jim, I don't know how old he is, but Jim says something which fascinated, which I want us to discuss today. He says, greatness is not a function of circumstance. Greatness, it turns out, is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline. Mindset, in other words, and doing the right things. That's what this room's all about, being your authentic self in business. What do we have to? How do we have to think? And what do we have to be doing? What do we have to be, maybe, to achieve greatness? That's a question I want to ask to try and discuss today. Say from my perspective, essentially, there are 6 things that Jim says we have to do. Is it really just 6 things, Jim? Is it just 6 things? Are you sure? No, I'm not silly. I'm a psychologist. Anyone who does research knows you approach research topics with a hypothesis. I think these 6 things matter. Separate the good from the great. And you gather data like he did to validate which ones are going to stand, which ones are going to fall, right? I'm sure there's more than 6 things, but I think these 6 things that I've learned from this book will move us forward. Will move us forward tremendously to become more successful in 2026. Of that, I have no doubt. But my friends who are here and you in the audience, I would love to hear your thoughts on these 6 things primarily, but also maybe your take on what these 6 things really mean. And maybe what you would add to what would make us. What will help us make that transition from being good to truly great? Now we'll come to that in a moment. So I'll do a more focused introduction. But Cyrus, Christmas is here, my friend. What's your plan? One day someone's going to say the truth, which is I'm just going to drink heavily. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Sorry, who said that? Cyrus, talk to us.
Hi everyone. This is Cyrus. I'm the CEO of Whisperboy.com. It's a pleasure to be here. Hi Sean, hi Annie, and hi Dr. Evan. If I'm not mistaken, I saw Bill in the audience as well. Hi Bill. This Christmas, like any other Christmas here in the UK, we're gonna have Christmas dinner on a Christmas Day, obviously. Before Christmas dinner, we're gonna open our gifts under the tree, like 8-year-olds. Very excited. It's a lot. Well, yeah, I'm saying that jokingly, but it's very important to keep yourself excited. Okay, that's a very British thing, because I think it's a really sad thing as people grow older and older. They find less and less, fewer and fewer reasons to get excited because they've gone through thick and thin, and it's as if the Christmas has lost its magic for them at the age of, I don't know, when they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s. They don't get excited that much anymore. Well, many dads don't find it exciting because all they get is a pair of socks, and if the family has a really strong imagination, a pair of gloves as well. So remember to give good gifts this Christmas, guys. Remember that. So after we open the gifts, we have the Christmas dinner, and after that we grab a bottle. We go to friends and family's house, and we get proper Charlie Sheen. And we're gonna. You ask me if we get drunk or not. Yes, we're gonna give Charlie Sheen a run for his money. Actually, we're gonna get Lindsay Lohan. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna have a good time. And this Christmas we're gonna do something really interesting as well. We have created something we call a secret business society, and once a year we sit down and share our strategies in our friend's house whilst we are all drunk. And so we have one per year, and that's Christmas. Sometimes we have it on Boxing Day. Boxing Day is the day after. If for people who are not familiar with the UK tradition, Boxing Day is the day after Christmas, and they call it Boxing Day because back in the day, like many moons ago, many years ago, people would put up gifts in boxes, and they would give it to tradesmen who made Christmas possible, actually. And because they were kind of busy selling their stuff in the market, and they didn't get a chance to actually celebrate Christmas properly because they're serving other people, aren't they? As a way of appreciation, people people went ahead and gave them those boxes. They gave their servants gifts in the boxes as well, and that was a way of celebrating the day after Christmas. And that's also the day that people use their leftovers from Christmas Day, and some people become really imaginative and really creative and make pizzas out of them. Some people just make sandwiches out of them. I don't know. Each to their own, right? So yeah, that's what we're gonna do on Christmas Day.
And that's it. Annie makes a big turkey stew that's gonna last me a couple of weeks in a big pot, because a normal pot can't hold the amount of turkey that we want to waste. But I will.
Couple of weeks. I will
eat all the turkey. I'm not having it. None of it's going in the bin. It all goes in that big vat of mine. Sometimes it's 2 pots. So much turkey that we have. Sarah, I don't know. I want to come to all of yours for Christmas. I really do. But Sarah's, yours sounds more fun, I got to say. I don't go anywhere on Christmas. I refuse to go out. I refuse to go anywhere because I'm normally incapable of doing so. I play my game, I drink, I sleep. I do more of that. More of that.
What do you do on Boxing Day, Annie?
Recover. You know how it is, Cyrus. I'm recovering.
Probably but Annie, if you continue, you wouldn't have to recover.
Yeah, I'm doing more of the same, man. I'm just, I literally Christmas Day blends to Boxing Day, and then in between we try and wake up, and then New Year comes quickly enough. So, but I have to go and meet Noni, Miss Pepperoni in London. It's killing me, but I was meant to go 27th, so the day after Boxing Day. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go on the 29th. Come back on the 30th. That could be fun. But I'm not going to go out before then, is my point, right? Lachelle, America's Supermom, so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I wonder how you spend your Christmas. When you say when you got 15 kids, what do you do, right? I'm so curious to know. I trust that you'll have the greatest fun without being like the weirdos who insist on fighting each other, right? Anyway, Meryl, thank you for sharing the book. The book is there, so do go and read the book. Alexis, my editor-in-chief, thank you for joining us. I don't know, I wonder if my clients will bring out their books to us.
Hello, Alexis.
So I'm officially working on Sarah's book right now, and I've got a 20-book series to publish today, which is scary, but I'm just going to publish them one by one, right? That's what I can do. 20 books. Oh well. It could take me 4 months, or it could take me a month. So I want to try to let it take me a month. But they're romance stories, so I know when the time comes, you'll find out all about it. I say, Meryl has shared a link from good to great. So you can get it on Amazon. I got a better way for you, my friends. Go to YouTube, do a search on Good to Great by Jim Collins, and you can get summaries, of course, on YouTube. They're free, right? I think I've got the whole book on YouTube, so it's like a podcast. You get to listen to it. I love listening to books. I get through so many books that way, right? Now, welcome all of you. Welcome. Okay, and I see you, April, saying the US is a great place to be come Christmas. It's good to hear. So Noni's escaped the US to come to Scotland. I'm like, what are you doing in Scotland? And she goes, it's cold. I'm like, I know. It's cold like the US. I'm like, no. Scotland is cold. It's freezing. She goes, no, it's like San Francisco. I'm like, you're crazy, really crazy. But let's leave her to enjoy the Arctic of England. Is why the Arctic of the UK really it's cold. Let's not hide it, right? It's gonna be great, right? Now, Cyrus, Alexa says hi to you too. Right, my friend, let's have a conversation. So, we're sure we've got a lot to discuss, but we're not going to be here all night. We're going to be here for an hour and a bit at most. Another hour. another hour, right? So let's keep it sharp. Let's keep it short. Let's keep it informative. Let's keep it entertaining, as we always do, right? I need a better link. We have a link to join the show or to come to the studio, Alexis. If you want a link to join the studio, let me know. You mean a link to join the studio, a better link for the book? Okay, I'll show the YouTube link I have. Right, my friends, from good to great. What does being great mean? Let's start there. What does being great mean to you? Sure, because I can see you. I'm more tempted to come to you first. But and I have to learn to nominate people to speak. Otherwise, I've realized it just leaves a chaotic thing where everyone's like, "Should I speak? Should I speak?" Sure, let's start with you, and then we'll go to Dr.
You got to you're the facilitator, Annie. So you got to facilitate.
Freestyling, Sean. That used to work, right? It doesn't
freestyling, work. But I've been in situations where everybody's trying to talk at the same time, and nobody gets heard.
Yeah, but I mean, the other way, where no one talks, that's even more hurtful to my feelings. That's even more like, why they're not talking? But I just have to nominate people, So, what does greatness mean? No, what does being great mean to you, Sean?
So, part of it, I would say, is to do great means to be the best version of myself. And at the same time, to strive to raise the bar. My mentor called it modeling excellence. So looking at others who are demonstrating the identity that I aspire to and model them in my daily life, right? And take that and even another layer down is not just like copy behaviors, but dig in. Like, okay, so he did that. What was the reason? What was he trying to accomplish? Because, there was a whole craze of, 5 a.m. club, right? Get up at 5 a.m. It's not for everybody. But what's the point? The point is getting that right start where you start your day without tech, right? You get some time alone with your thoughts. To me, that's what I see it. So, whatever time I get up, that's what I want to model. So that's what I would say greatness.
I think we'll take that for sure, right? We'll take that for sure. It is, it's about us and how we be, right? How also about how are we showing up? How are we with ourselves? And so all of that means, I think the way you put it, Sean, aiming for excellence, modeling excellence. Having, I guess, a routine, a way that we do things. We say, what time you wake up, time what you do, how you do those things, right? It's all of that. I think it's being more intentional about our day, full stop. But our day becomes our week, becomes our month. It becomes our year, and that's just the truth. And in all of that, I guess I'm realizing we have to aim to be better. Sometimes some will say better than I was yesterday. Of course, that's a real game we're playing.
Right. I call it my 1% club, Annie.
Right. So improving, and that becomes a transformation. Like someone says, I had a video I played yesterday in my room that no one saw, but must be there. That if you improve that 1% every day, Sean, at the end of the year, you've improved 365%. Imagine that. That's at least 365%, right? Some days we improve more. Some days we make a real leap forward. But that has to be our goal. Like I say, if I was as good as I could be today, I would be living a whole different life. That's the need. That's the need for continuous improvement, continuously working towards being the best version of ourselves. I guess I am mindful of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization. We never get there, is what he said, right? There's always, we can always be better, no matter how good we are, how great we become. Scary thought, right? Scary thought. So no, of course, now working on ourselves is part of the conversation today. Which part of ourselves we have to work on? What are the critical parts that make a real difference? The parts that really separate the good companies, the good entrepreneurs from the great ones. Jim, it simplifies the whole concept. Whether we can live entirely by 6 or 7 findings, I don't know. I think there's a lot more to life than just these 6 or 7 things, but these 7 things are critical, I think. All right. I get a phone call, but no, I'm doing what I'm doing. My beloved friend, you're gonna have to call me back later. But no, again, that's the way I do these things, right? Dr. Yvonne, talk to us. What does greatness look like to you?
What does greatness look like to me? I don't really know. I mean, I've really never given it thought. But if I were to think of it, I would say that it would be a continuing evolution of where you want to see yourself or what you want to become. And so I've not gotten there yet. Um, what I, sorry, what I think greatness might be is a good leader, but a good leader that also knows when to follow. To me, that's about greatness. So it is evolutionary. It is the fact that you are continually changing to strive to do better and hopefully affect people in a positive way. I do a lot of work with people, and I know, oh, you have to get paid. And yes, I understand that. I get that. But for the people that I really, really want to help, like especially women and children, um, so payment never comes into it. Do they think that I'm great because I literally really want to help them? I think they might. I think they might respect that. Um, but if I'm looking at myself and saying, oh, yeah, I'm the greatest at this and that, I don't think I've ever had that kind of thought about what I do and why I do it. And I also think that it's cultural for us as well, because, like, growing up, our parents or my parents always made you know, number one, that if you're banking on the way you look or what you're doing, there's always somebody out there that's going to either be better at it or look better or do things better. There's always going to be someone out there doing better. It doesn't mean that you're not great. It just means that you have more to strive for. So greatness to me is when you know the people are looking at you, when you know that you're a leader, when you know you're helping other people, when you know you're standing in the gap for people, when you know you're loving your family the best to your ability, when you know that you take responsibility for things that, maybe is embarrassing at the time, but you take responsibility for it. All of those things combined make you the greatest person you can be. But you've got to continue to strive. And that's what I tell my children. It's what I tell my clients. And that's what I tell myself. So I've never looked at myself as being, oh, you're the greatest. No. because there's always someone else out there doing a little bit more, a little bit better, and you can also do better. So I think that would be my answer, Annie.
Yeah.
I don't look at greatness that way. Like there's no leader that I can look at right now that's either here or not here that I would say, oh, they were the greatest. Now, wait, I just lied because like Muhammad Ali, yeah, like you can't beat Muhammad Ali. Like he's the greatest of all time, you know. Beautiful in the face, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gorgeous to talk about, perfect teeth, handsome, not a cheater. And all those things made him a great person to me. But he continued to work at being great for his people and then also being the greatest at his sport, which
Yeah.
did not determine him as a man. What determined him as a man was the work he did for his people and loving his family. So I'll take that back. He was actually one of the greatest people I've ever seen in my life. So that's
I think you mentioned many of the things. I guess that old Jim. His name is not old Jim. No, of course, I say it's an English terminology. We like to call people old. If want to call Jim, right? It is about continuously serving people, being serving more people. Jim Collins' research. This comes down to it research about 1,000 companies, 980. And from there, he picked the ones that continuously grew every year over a 20-year period. It's not. I think I agree with you. I think we can all agree it's not a comparison with anyone else. It is this comparison with yourself. But the real metric has to be doing more, being more. I know it's sure that could easily be just being more yourself. But essentially, it's about being your best self and doing good things, but serving more people each year. And the reality is that when we do that, some say we're great, but deep down, it will equate to having more income. It will, because people will pay us more because we're doing more, serving more people, right? Let's not hide that fact. So sometimes the metric is, for many companies, how much revenue do we have? But it is our personal bit that I think really matters. So improving, being better, knowing more of ourselves, maybe as time goes on. Dr. Yvonne, you've unmuted. I thought you were going to add to the conversation. I think you're going to add to what you said, but it's fine. It's fine.
I was going to add.
Go for it. Go for it.
I was waiting for you to finish.
Please go for it.
No, I mean, when I think about looking at serving other people, that actually is one of the greatest things I think anyone can do. I really do. But the other part is serving yourself. I think for a long time I was a people pleaser, and so I wasn't fair to myself, right? And when you're not fair to yourself, you don't know the word no. That's not a good word for you, because that means that you're telling another person you can't do something. And when you're a people pleaser, that's like the biggest no-no. So learning how to say no for me was a great way to serve myself while serving other people, while becoming a greater person to myself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
It makes perfect sense, but I guess many of us want to, like you say, want to please other people, which is that would probably be our downfall in the end. What kills us if we're not careful? I think there's a fine line between serving, being better at what we do, making our solutions better, to I guess the fear side, as my friend Victoria talks about. If you're saying yes out of fear, then you're doomed. that's my new word for 2026, right? You're doomed. But now, if you're serving because you want to help people, because you want to share your gift, you want to make the world a better place. Again, I say that knowing it's a very fine line. It's a very fine line. Again, Victoria told me yesterday, it's about whether are you enabling people to, to carry on the silly behavior, or are you helping them to become better people? Are you solving their problem really? That's what it comes down to, right? Are you providing a solution? Or are you indulging them with your yay behavior? It's a hard one. Sean, I see you think. I don't like Sean thinking because my screen wobbles, right? When Sean thinks, go on, Sean. Something's triggered you, right? Talk to me.
Well, the math sounds simple, right? 1% every day, 365. But the reality is, at the end of 365 days, you will be 38 times improved, which translates to 3,780%, not 365. So it's even bigger than you imagine. It's not 365, it's 3,780 because of compounding. It's the same way that if you take 1 cent and double it every day for 30 days, you will have over $5 million at the end of the 30 days.
So now you're speaking Queen Leah's language. Welcome, Queen Leah. I do see you in the audience. And that's the way that's the number she talks about, which has me picking up pennies. Where if I see a penny you don't know, I will pick it up. I don't care. I just have to wash them, make sure I don't catch some disease. But I do pick up every penny I see. Some people think I'm crazy, but no. I want to see the compound interest. I want that transformation you're talking about, Sean. The compounding effect, right? Which that is truly, if you just imagine that's a different life, different us completely. Look, the good thing, Dr. Yvonne, the good thing, Sean, the good thing, everyone who's here is the fact that my friend is saying there's 6 simple things we need to do. Think of that, right? I'd love to know your take on that. So Jackie, the legend Jackie, welcome. Yes, I love going to Jackie's show. Meryl tends to invite me, which is a brilliant thing. I think we will aim to be nice, but Sean, no one's as nice as Jackie on her show. She genuinely means her kindness. I'm not saying we don't. When I listen to her, I just think, oh, I know you genuinely buy into what they're doing. And I just find that remarkable. Hopefully people think that of me too, Sean, but I don't know, right? But I think that of Jackie for sure. I'll say that. So 1% better every day for sure, Sean. I'm 100% to have that mantra both at home and on my desk at work. That's so true, right? How do we do it, Meryl? How do you do it? I'd love to hear Meryl's thoughts one day. I really would. So welcome, Kimberly. Welcome. Dr. Yvonne. Kimberly, such a great point. A leader knows when to lead and follow. Reminds me of being on the dance floor. Yeah, no dancing for me. No. Anyway, but there's a point there, Kimberly. There's a point there, Dr. Yvonne. This conversation is about, I guess, how we manage ourselves, as well as how we manage others. So let's face the first fact: we can't achieve greatness by ourselves. We need to build a team. I think all of us will be lacking somewhere on the points that Jim Collins makes, right? I say, hands up. My biggest problem is building a team. I struggle with it. I know the science. I know the principles. I know the practices as a psychologist, but I struggle. I can't create. I haven't created so far what Jim's talking about. Which I'll share with you where the gap is in my experience, my knowledge, and so on and so forth. Again, and I think as we go through the list, maybe it's for you to look and think, right, what can I do differently? What will I do differently? I'm not sure anyone's going to leave here and say, I'm going to do all these things differently. Maybe you will, but that's not going to help, right? Much easier to choose one thing. Exactly, sure. Choose one thing and just start there. Start there now. Don't wait till 2026, right? Start there now. As Sean says, great isn't about doing extraordinary things. It really isn't. It's about being congruent. It's about knowing yourself, being better aligned, finding your. I call it finding your peace, Sean. Finding your peace and joy. When we're alone, when we're doing the right thing for us, everything flows. Again, this is one of Jim Collins' points, by the way. What are you passionate about? What is you? You think of that, right? What is the thing you're number one in the world for? I've dropped that deliberately, that to get you thinking. What are you the best at? Yes, I'll leave that there. Now, let's move on. So I'm going to come back to, of course. I'd love to know your thoughts and where you see yourself on that question, right? So Jay says, welcome, Jay. Being great is about being yourself and sharing yourself. Yes, Jay, indeed. Your story with the world. And your skills, Jay, your expertise. We do need expertise somewhere. We do need to sharpen that knife, that saw, to do what we need to know to make others, to make the world a better place. Can we do it without having a skill? I'm not sure we can. Some will tell us we can, but I don't know. Even if you look, who's great? Muhammad Ali, of course. He had a skill that was, he was the greatest for a reason. His boxing skills were remarkable. If you haven't watched him, good luck to you. I'm saying if you watch him, you realize he's one of a kind. Sean, don't die, Sean. Go on, Sean. You thought something. What do you think? I always want to know what you think, Sean.
Well, I was formulating, and I always feel bad, like I'm interrupting your show, Annie.
No, it's fine.
I should turn my camera off so you can't see me because you react to me so much. But, a simple 3-step plan to do every evening on the 1%. The questions I ask myself, where did my actions today match the person I say that I am or that I am becoming? Right? That's my alignment check. Yeah. And be honest with myself, right? Doesn't benefit anyone to lie to yourself.
Yes.
It's one thing to lie to your wife or your boss or whatever, but why lie to yourself?
That's silly, right?
Yeah. Second question, where did I trade alignment for comfort, approval, going back to the people-pleasing thing, or avoidance? Right? No shame. No, this isn't about beating ourselves up. It's just awareness, as you said, right? Where did I not operate? I love Sarah Blakely tells the story. And if you don't know who she is, she's the woman that founded Spanx at a young age and became very successful.
Very wealthy, yeah.
She tells the story of her dad every night. When they sat down to dinner, he would ask each of the kids, where did you fail today? And, it's not an easy question to answer. Nobody wants to say, well, this is how I failed. But it trained her to see failure as a learning opportunity, not a stopping point.
Yeah. That's a good point. Go for it. The third point.
What is the smallest visible action that would restore integrity tomorrow? So what is the tiniest little micro movement I can do to realign and get back in alignment?
Yeah, look, there are two that pick up on Jim Collins' book and his point to greatness, right? I think, their brutal honesty. It's one of the things we say. Brutal honest, and not to ourselves, of course, but also to those around us, and not to accept yes people. We want people who are going to truly question what we do and point out deficiencies, not just try to. I don't want to upset the boss today, so I'll just say yes. I'll just say whatever he wants to hear. We need people to truly be brutally honest. And then for us to be able to accept such brutality, just it sounds terrible, but it's not. It's a good thing, right? Being really,
it's in love, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
I talked about this recently on the podcast, right? You can't see your blind spots. That's why they call them blind spots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the move is to get someone that you feel comfortable and safe with, and give them direct permission to call you out when you are off course. Because I had a buddy, his marriage fell apart because he was the standard working husband. He was working hard, long hours to provide for his family, to give them everything in his mind. When it fell apart, I was talking to him later. He's like, I said, Mark, I'll be honest, I saw the cracks well before it all fell apart. And he looked at me and he said, why didn't you say something? That was a hard question, because it's not easy to say to your friend, someone you care about, like, dude, pull it together. You're screwing it up. So by giving someone that direct permission, you open the door. Now they can feel comfortable to say, hey, you're not you.
And I think that down that line, disagreeing and having the difficult conversations is necessary, right? We have to embrace people who are sharing or talking to us from a place of love. And if that's what we need to hear, then so be it. But of course, we have to do the same for others, right? I say again, if I bring it back to Jim's book, I think he talks about identifying, I guess, the engine that helps us make money. And that engine simply says that there's when we are doing well, when we are doing great things, when we're getting customers in, when we're serving in joy, there are certain things that correlate with the moment. Whereas when we are screwing things up, there are certain things that correlate with those moments too. So we need to identify what really fuels our success. What's the thing? And what's the things that are around us when we're winning? Let's do more of those, obviously, right? And what's the things around us when we are screwing up? Let's do less of those. Again, because the more you do the good things that help us keep growing and keep doing well, keep serving more, then greatness gets closer. So I like the message, Sean. It's another one on my list. I want to say, I don't like going through lists the way lists are. And I want to talk about this like this. When you raise the points, I will say, yeah, that aligns with that point. That aligns with that point. Saves me wait, saving it all for the end, which I never get anywhere, right? Marlene, welcome, Marlene. How you doing? How's the book going, Marlene? Yes, no, it's going. That's the important thing. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Okay, StreamYard just did something weird on my screen. Okay. I leave that one alone. Meryl, the greatest Muhammad Ali, of course it comes to mind, but many other people come to mind. And maybe many of the people that we call the greatest probably are not on. They're not the Jeff Bezos, the Zuckerbergs of this world. But let's not denigrate those people who have done amazing things. Yeah, so I'm always in awe of the mom and pop shop on the high street that's been there for the last 20 years. They've done something right, and they meet the criteria that Jim Collins puts down, which is you've been serving people more and more and more every year over 20 years. Your revenue's gone up all that time because you're doing these right things. So which makes me ask a question: why can't we be those people? That's a conversation I'm really having. No, we can be. We have to be. It's our time. What do we need to do to become like those people? To have the sort of success and the impact that those people have, and the longevity, and maybe also the revenue that they have, right? That's what I'm really talking about today. April asked me, "What's the topic?" Right? StreamYard, stop park traffic on AI. I don't care about peak traffic on AI clips. Stop showing me that. Anyway, let's go to Cyrus. Cyrus, talk to us. Greatness, my friend. What does it mean to you?
Hi, everyone. Well, to begin with, greatness is what has actually brought me here. That's what I'm witnessing. That's what I'm learning from. You guys are great, and I'm here to learn from you. I'm gonna share something with you guys. In 2019, I started on TikTok, and it was a proper melting pot, and you found all sorts of people on it, people who were selling products, services, and it was on TikTok that I learned why people can sell, how they can sell. And once I joined LinkedIn, I learned why is it that people can't sell. So it's a massive contrast. That was one of the greatest teachers for me has been just listening to people on these two platforms. On LinkedIn, I've realized there are lots of overthinkers who are probably the best in the market. That is ironic, isn't it? Like when the best in the market can't sell, something's not right, something's amiss, right? And those 15, 16-year-olds who sit in front of the camera on TikTok, they can sell. What is it that 16-year-old has, which that 40-something-year-old person doesn't have? It's the ability to not overthink. When you're 16, when you're 17, when you're 20 or whatever, you're not, I'm not saying you're not capable of overthinking, but that's not where your focus is. You are too incentivized to overthink. You're too busy doing things to overthink, right? Well, then again, I'm only human. I could be wrong. Please come on the stage and correct me. I'll stand corrected. And then again, that's my experience. Right?
You have a point there, my friend.
So you asked. You asked us. So you remind us how is it that people go from good to great? First of all, before you go from good to great, you got to be before you are good, before you are great. You have to create. And one of the things that helped me in what I do is that I just create. It's been a while since I started this method. I just create, and I correct it later. I improve it later, right? I just design, and then once I finished it, then I upload the story, then I upload the content. I just create the structure first. So if you look at the word good and look at the word great, they both come from Germanic languages. You know where Switzerland and Netherlands and Germany are, right? There's an area where these words were invented, actually. So good comes from anything that is fitting, that is suitable. That's good. So you got to be suitable first for the business that you're going to serve, right? Look at the etymology of the word, and then you go to the word great. So great means big. large, you upscale, right? You scale your business. You got to be first. You got to be there first, and then you got to be suitable for your target audience in terms of the service and the product that you're providing, right? So, and the advice I'm going to share, which I have learned from someone else myself, this is not my idea. What I've learned is receive lots of advice, but do not receive advice from people you consider to be smarter than you, because you will not question that advice. Most of the advice that people give you is not fitting for your business. You've got to transform it, then apply it, right? So, because lots of the business advice or life advice that people give you is, what's that saying? A square peg in a round hole, something like that. So you've got to transform it. You've got to change it and tweak it a little bit before applying it to your business. And unless the business you receive it, business advice or life advice you receive it, comes from someone who has specifically experienced exactly your problem, then applying it would be advisable. So please do not receive advice from people smarter than you. And if you do, definitely question it in your head. Definitely question it and transform it before applying it to your business. And also, so you mentioned how is it that we can go from good to great? Those small tweaks on a daily basis, you can never outrun your habits. You can never, ever outrun your own strategies. And you can never outsmart your strategies, because your operations can never be better than the strategies that you have, right? So some people's strategy is to overthink, recreate, and then 6 months down the line, they realize, oh, this is not good. And then another annoying thing kicks in, which is feeling like you're an imposter. You get imposter syndrome as well, just to make things worse, right? So don't overthink it. Just do it. That's the best way from going from good to great. That's my advice. Thank you.
You make many points there. There's many points again that my friend Jim Collins picks. I said my friend. I wish he was my friend, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Go on, go for it,
Wow.
Dr.
That sounds, I'm sorry, I don't mean to overstep
No, feel free,
your
go for it.
platform, but that was excellently put, I think.
Yeah, no, it really
I believe it was excellently put because, you know, exactly, there is no competition. You're doing it for yourself. Wow, eloquently put. Thank you.
No,
Wow.
I think like it's a great point indeed. I guess if I had to align it with what our Jim is saying, as I mentioned just now, what's your economic engine? What's the thing that drives you, right? Another way of looking at it is what he calls the hedgehog effect, being the hedgehog, Cyrus, being a hedgehog, right? And the way he puts it is simply that we need to know what we're good at. What are we really? Who are we? There's many things we have to be good at. The hedgehog effect, it talks more about what are you passionate about? What's your thing? You have to have your thing, because your thing determines everything you're going to do from there, right? And the hedgehog, say, what are you passionate about? What is the one thing you and your team were built to do? So we'll talk a lot about what you're passionate about, but it's more than that.
You're talking about ikigai. The Japanese people call that ikigai.
Yes, I say Mike the blog mentions that very often, right? And I think once we know what that one thing is, and we learn to deliver it and sharpen how we deliver it on an ongoing basis, that's the 1% Sean's talking about. That's what maybe it's part of the 1%, because the other thing we need to be is what he calls level 5 managers. the manager who is not self-interested, the manager who is selfless, the manager who gives it all for the cause, for the organization, for the mission, right? And there's another place where he talks about, I guess, like our sense of, it's not so much responsibility. Yeah, it's more, I guess, like our sense of, you know, creating pockets of greatness is what he calls it. Of course, it comes back. It comes back to doing the right things at the right time, and supporting our team to do the right things at the right time. But ultimately, it's about us looking at the world and at our role in business, and focus on the now, the present. You know, I'm sure there's one of Mike's. Is it Cala, something to that effect, something like that, right? You know, it really is a case of, you know, everything we do, Cyrus, we have to focus on that moment, that thing that we're doing, right? And we have to focus on being great at it. See, now, what happens normally is that we do things, and I'm here now. I'm doing an event, and I'm thinking about, oh, next year I want no. Any focus on today's event, right? You know, focus on the here and now. Focus on doing what you're doing now in a great way. Now, as Sean said, it's not about doing big things. Now, it's about doing the small things in a great way. Your unique great way. That's greatness. You know, so when we focus on creating moments of greatness in everything we do, we'll become better. We'll serve better. We'll serve more. You know, and everything else flows from that. You know, so I've suddenly just realized, you know, my show is going, so I need to, you know, make my points based on what you say, right? And where it aligns, I'll put up the bit of my notes that says what you're saying. You know, I think a part of this is, as you see on screen, is about taking responsibility. You see, being great managers, level 5 managers, the person who manages with humility, with love for the team. You know, the one who takes responsibility when things don't go right, the one who says, right, it's my fault. It's my job to give them the chance to be great, and all they need to be great. That's how you create moments of greatness, right? In everything we do. Honestly, I love reading books. I love being inspired by people like Jim Collins. So I know it's not the full picture. Go on, Sean, and the hedge concept in a personal way. You know, we all should, Sean. Go on, Sean. Stop me destroying your thinking. Share with us what you're saying on there, please.
So when we look at the hedgehog concept, and it does align with Ikigai, but I would posit, or I would present, that Ikigai, as it's commonly presented, has been westernized. It's not the circles that you see for Ikigai. That's not Ikigai. It runs deeper than that. But it aligns with this, right? What am I deeply wired for? I was talking to a business coach who's going to be on Daily Power Boost. And we both agreed, when we're working with someone, all the strategies and what's working, what's not, forget that for now. Let's dig all the way down and start at the foundation, the cornerstones of what are your values? What matters to you? What are you wired for? Right? Took me a lot of years to kind of figure out more or less what I'm wired for. Still learning. But we're all wired for certain things. And when we ask ourselves and dig in and try and figure out, like, what am I meant to do? What lights me up? What turns push motivation to pull motivation. Like the world's greatest magnet is pulling you towards something, and nothing can stop you. And then what can I sustain over time, right? How long can you grind 60, 70, 80-hour weeks? You might do it for a sprint, but can you keep that up and keep your marriage and your family presence? No. And what feels aligned, right? How many times do we pursue something that at a deeper level, it's not aligned with us? We feel something's off. We can't pin it down, but it's like, this doesn't really fit, right? We start to disassociate. We start to not get the joy that we used to get doing the thing. Because if you skip this, right, if you don't dig the lower, you can practice the hedgehog concept for a little while, but it won't stick.
You know, it has to be from deep within. It has to be who you are. The B thing that Sarah was talking about, right? Yeah, it's like you say, that's the only way we're going to carry it on through thick and thin, through the hard days, through the good days, through the hard times. Now, to truly get to where we're trying to get to. I mean, look, it's going to take away one fact from here, Sean, that everyone knows. This is going to be a long journey, right? Say, when Cyrus mentions 16-year-olds, see, I think the one thing they do is focus on that one thing. They focus on the one thing they're trying to do, whatever that may be, right? That's what they focus on. That's what they're thinking about. And so, whereas we're all too keen to think of 100 things at once. Do that one thing. Focus on that one thing at a time. When that kid's creating their TikTok videos, they don't think of anything. They're not thinking what's going to happen when I'm 25. They're just thinking this video has to look like this, sound like this, and be like this. And that's what they give you, right? That's reality. Yeah, focus on create moments of greatness, pockets of greatness. Be great at what you do now. Tomorrow will look after itself. If you work towards greatness now, tomorrow has a more chance of being great for you too. To do anything else risks our greatness now and also where we can get to. So we're too distracted. I see Marlene say, great reflection, Sean. I'm truly seeing what I'm wired for. When you find that thing, right, life is so much more glorious. And I'm not disagreeing with Sean. I'm just saying, I think we find energy to do more when we are driven, beyond driven. When our mission is truly our calling. As Sean says, what's pulling us to do this thing, right? Where am I going next? Is it Alexis or is it Michael? I think it's Michael. It could be Alexis. No, it's Michael, I think. Michael, share with us.
Allow Alexis to go first.
Okay, Miss Alexis, the mic is yours. Welcome on stage, my friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm listening to, excuse me, everyone. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking all day today. So, been listening to everyone, and everyone seems to have really good ideas, or great. Some of them are great, so it's gone from good to great. And I can see all these different points. It's just almost overwhelming. Just a comment, I have a hard time sometimes with what is your authentic self, or things like that. I look at, excuse me, with this phone. Hold on one second. Sorry about that.
Crystal, that's why they want to hear. They want to tell you. I can see you on TV.
Hopefully.
Please.
Hey, I've been there. So anyway, a couple times. So anyway, so comment, was that great? One hit wonder. But anyway, I'll cover that in a second. So I believe that the authentic self, I think we're all real. Whatever, like right now, this is our reality. So whatever, it's all, when people say, is it real? Whatever is happening now to you or others, it's all real. Whatever the shift is, that's real. And I look at the human side of things. So that's just a comment. And as I was listening, I started writing down just words, certain words, because as you all know, I'm a word person. So we have, when you look at from good to great, we have good, better, best. Okay. And then we have great, greater, or greatest. So when you go from good to great, what makes the difference? Okay, so we can't, when we're going, and when we have the greatest, it's like Ali was what they call now the GOAT, greatest of all time. And we have a lot of, and a lot of comments there, but getting back here, how do we go from good to greatest? When we're good, we say it's good enough, it's okay, it will do. But when we go to great, we're taking the extra step, the extra mile. We're doing something to refine it. It's above average. It's better. How do we get to be best or the greatest? Well, that's even, like the 1% or rare. And are we going for quantity or quality? Is the goal to have a lot of these things, or is it the quality? What makes it, what is greater there? If you're accomplishing your goal, is that great? So there's a lot of things to look at there. It's like, somebody wins the Olympic gold medal for whatever reason. Do they continue to win gold medals, or do they go back into life and do they take those qualities that got them there to win the gold medal and put that into other parts of their life so they're always great? Like one hit wonders. Some of those songs have endured for I don't know how many years, but they would say one hit wonders, but they endure. Sometimes you do something and it's just that. Does it endure? What makes it great? Is it great at the moment? This is a really interesting topic. And I just, like I said, took these little notes. Is it the longevity of what you're doing? Is it going to endure? And the reason I bring this book up, because as you know, I relate to words and books, is that about a year ago, somebody was saying that, I think her name, the author, Harper Lee, her book, To Kill a Mockingbird, is still in some of the literature classes in the universities. And they said that she did write a second book. So I sought it out. I found it somewhere. And it was not great. To Kill a Mockingbird was great. It is the classic book that it's like a model for people who are learning to write in certain genres. But the second book was terrible. So she has longevity, but is that a one-hit wonder? So what makes you great? Is it endurance? I think you need endurance to get there. I mean, I know someone, just as an example, a relative, I have a lot of old relatives, people who live to be over 100, but this one is 89 now, and at the age of 74, now she's always been physical. Everything she's done, she's got to that next step, and then she's moved on. But she was always a runner, and she decided at the age of 74 she was going to run a marathon. So she trained for 4 months. She ran the marathon. She came in first. She never stopped. She never walked. And her comment was, well, I've done that and never doing it again. And everybody says, wow, this is really great at your age to do that, to come in first, not walking, not stopping, nothing. You just ran it. And she goes, really, it was great. And they said, yes. And see, I think it's perspective. And so, her advice to me, and I think it's been brought up here, is you just keep going. You just keep doing the next thing. You don't say it's good enough. How can I refine this to make it better? If you want to be great, being great is not average. It's above average. It stands out. Whatever it is you're doing, whether it's to improve yourself or your product, your service, whatever it is, you have to make sure it's not the same as everyone else. Even if it's a book, writing on the same subject, same subject as others, what makes yours great? What makes it stick in their minds? And I know it's a lot I just threw out there, but I just pulled in so much from what everyone was saying. It's just, you have to rise above. Whatever it is has to be better. It has to be better than what's already there. And you have to keep pushing and not be afraid to make mistakes. We won't say failure, but yes, if it doesn't work, go to the next step. And the same person that ran this marathon also told me, and I bring this up every now and then, is that always have a plan A, but always have plan B. I asked, what is plan B? And she said, whatever works. And you have to finish, you have to go that extra step or mile or push until you get there. And I think that's how you go from good to great. It's all these things. It's for some it's a lot of work, and for some it probably comes easier. I don't know. But if something doesn't work, my thought has always been just to check it off and just go next. And, sometimes it's frustrating, as we all know. But it has to be better. It has to be better. So I think great and better and best all run together. Never just say, okay, that's good enough, if you're trying to do that. So that's about it.
I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, you raised many questions, of course, which fuel the conversation. Coach Ashif, welcome, my friend. Now, Coach Ashif answers some of the questions. Greatness is within each of us, so don't stop for good. Life's about striving, right? When you're talking about the one-hit wonder, I guess the one we think about in the UK, I don't know. It might be the same in the US. It's Milli Vanilli. You remember them? Girl, you know it's true. I'm not going to sing it too much.
Yes, Milli Vanilli.
The one-hit wonder, the proper one-hit wonder. No, they had an album. I should they had an album out. Then they were discovered for being frauds. That they weren't really singing the songs, but the songs were number ones, and that song was number one anyway. And it still endures today, I'm sure. But I suppose there's that tinge of ridiculousness, that tinge of falseness, that tinge of being a fraud. Imposter syndrome, Sarah mentioned earlier. I'm saying, we don't want to be that person, do we? We want what we do to be credited to us, but also endure. So again, I will say to you, Alexis, if I ever run a marathon, you better call me great, because I wouldn't run a mile, let alone my wife ran a marathon. I would have decided what to do.
I don't.
I was in my car.
I don't run.
No. So my son's run marathons as well, but I'm like, no thanks. Rock on, family. I'm right here. When you finish, I'll drive you home. That's all you're gonna get out of me, right? But greatness has to endure. I agree, and it is about being better tomorrow than we are today. Being better today than we were yesterday. Yeah, I guess what I realized as I was preparing for today is simply that this is not something outside of us. It's whether we have ideas, better solutions. We know there's more we can do, there's more we can be. And then do we brush that aside and say, like you say, Alexis, don't settle for being good today. That's not good enough, right? Settle for being better tomorrow. I think it's an individual thing, Alexis, for all of us. Again, I refer back to one of the points I made, which Jim Collins makes in his book as well. This is about the brutal truth, facing brutal truths. Only we know whether we can have done better. Only we know whether we can do different. And then only we know where we let ourselves down and say, okay, I'll settle for okay. As opposed to, I can do more, I can serve more, I can give more, I can be more. It's not just Jim Collins that begs us to ask that question of ourselves. I always refer to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because that's a psychologist student, and that's mostly what you learn, right? Motivation theories. And so Maslow says we have to ask ourselves at the top of that triangle, how good can I be, really? That's why we never get to a point where we say, I'm done. I've reached the top. I've done all I can until we die. Literally until we die. It's a challenge, but that's our challenge. That's a game that we have to play. And when we're honest with ourselves, I think we find a way, a path to growth, to be better tomorrow. The 1%, improvements that Sean mentioned earlier. So that 1% is there for all of us. In 2026, my friends, how many percent is really there in front of us? Think about it, right? Cyrus made a point earlier. When he thinks it, he does it. For better, for worse. When he will learn, or he will be of more impact on the world, of bringing solutions that the world needs, help more people, do better things, the bigger things. All of us sitting here now, we have, maybe you don't, I'm saying, but we have ideas. I guess my point is, let's implement them, let's chase them. Let's go for it, because we can. To do anything else but is to cheat ourselves and to cheat the world, right? And Marlene, I'm going to come to your question in a second, if you don't mind. mind. So give me a second. You know, it's like confronting the brutal truths is I think is at the heart of greatness. Like, what is your truth? Only you know what it is. Of course, you can see it. Of course, I'll be like that. I don't know where you want to go. You know, it says greatness. Do you see Marlene's question? Does greatness come when you reach or rise from a challenge? I don't know. You know, start where you want to start, my friend. If you want to tackle that point, also feel free.
I really just want to quickly share because it's late here. At the same time, I'm really tired. I don't know. I had a very as sad as this may sound, greatness cannot even just come after you might have faced a challenge if you still continue your old habits. Greatness only comes when you choose to do what you're not comfortable with, what you've not been doing. Greatness won't just come because you feel like, yeah, I've gone through this challenge, and whenever it's not like you going through a tunnel. It's not, no. Being great in life is not about, I hear people say that at the end of the tunnel there will be light. Yeah, that's if there's light at the end of the tunnel. That's when you're going to see light. That's if a light is planted there. That's if you have a seed that has been planted. That means during the challenges, you are doing something that brings something great to you. You are not dwelling on it that I just want this. The phase will never pass unless you choose to do the different thing. I hope you know that what we do is what shapes us. I hope you know what we do is what got us to where we are today. And also, I hope you know that challenges of life is different from one individual or the other. Most times, there are some problems you don't need to go through or that may never come your way if you choose to do what you are supposed to do. Great share, great share from all of the things I've heard also from everybody. I just want us to know something that instead of focusing on I want to become great, I'm good now, and I want to become great. Why don't you do more? Do when others won't do. I do tell my client that, okay, let me give you just a scenario. Like I got a contract with a client. I told her that let's work for like the minimum I could work with you is 3 months. And after then, let's see what happened. Do you understand? Then I sat down that okay, I propose 3 months. I want this person to propose another 3 months by herself when they see my work, when my work is same. Do you understand? And it wasn't even 3 months they proposed that after that. They proposed a year after the 3 months was completed. Do you know why? Because I won't give you an excuse. I've actually lived the stage. You don't give life excuse and expect to get the best out of it. You can't be giving life excuses. That is because I feel like this today. My back aches, my head hurts me. I couldn't walk well. Like I became late. There was no electricity today. I didn't plan well for my weekend, so that's why this day I have to plan. Life won't respond to you. Life always look at the things, the actions you take every day. So it's those actions that determines whether you are going to become great. And as sad as that may sound, it's not everybody that will become great. It's not everybody that will be successful because it's not everybody that can stick through. It's not everybody that can do everything that brings about greatness, that brings about joy, that brings about good life. So it's about the doing, especially when it is not convenient. It's that thing you do that determine whether you will reach rise, you will rise from that your challenges. It will not come on autopilot. It come by compounding effort, continuously, consistency. That's how it comes. Prayer won't even do it. You can't pray your way into success. You walk your way into it. Say, them just did my mic and allow me to share my share that I need to share before, and then I can go to bed, please.
Thank you. So you want to carry on, or can I? Thank you for sharing that. I say that for sure, right? I say as Jim tells us, again, greatness is a choice. As you were saying, Topolova, greatness is a choice. It's a choice we make. We can choose to settle, or we can choose to carry on. And
when we combine these two, we should get a simple.
Okay, where are you? Okay, go on.
What say?
Topolova.
Nothing to fear.
Topolova.
Yes, I'm here.
So do you want to share? So do you want to share your screen or what?
Yeah, I feel like what is even the main topic or the main thing that we are basically talking about. I think it says from good to great, making the transition in the year ahead. If you notice me, at least you would say like October is getting better. And then you can't become great if you don't choose to be different.
Yes.
Honestly, like I don't know. I don't know how the best way to share it. It may sound so harsh. Do you understand? You can't become great if I don't see you be able to give me something that worth paying for. That is worth. Many people be like, I care about people. I want to help people. I love these people. I love helping people. But I tell the world that it takes more than kindness to be good to people. The resources is involved. You need the resources.
Look, it may be that it's not for us to judge our greatness. Maybe that's the answer, right? It's a bit like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder, but it's the eye of others. They would judge ultimately whether we're great or not.
That's it.
The things that we have to do to even, I guess, what are the practical things we can do? That's what I think I took from Jim's book, right? Hence, I'm putting it in the comments, and it is, it's a choice we have to make, to carry on, to do the right things, and then and to be disciplined enough, as Sean mentioned earlier, to be able to stick on the road, to stick. Yeah, look, I think many of the concepts in Jim Collins' book work together, right? I think you can see them as a standalone. Or I think now I'm learning as we're talking, I'm seeing them more as a collective. To do what Sarah said, which is become a different person, become that person before we can do right. We hear from Calm, Sean. We hear from Calm. Sean is trolling me from the studio. I like that. What he's doing in the comments, right? We'll go there in a second. I think that this issue, what is greatness? Maybe that I should have started there. I did start there today, by the way. Maybe that's a whole conversation in itself. I can see that there could be, so maybe I'll start 2026 with that question. I know you got the question you want to discuss as well, Topolova, right?
Yeah.
We'll come to that. Now, Coach Ashif, I agree, but say the book, this Jim Collins book, is also about being effective, efficient, and adaptive. Indeed. This is what I'm saying, and all the points work together to make us a better person, a better professional. And someone who does what we do to help others for a long, long time. So my friend, Dr. Paula Washington, she talks about the 20-year thing, right? The 20-year, greatness, it can't begin even before 20 years. So I say all that to say to you, think of the companies around you. Think companies that you do business with, right? I think we're always shocked when a big brand goes out of business. In the UK, it was Woolworths. Some disappeared. Some just disappeared one day, right? Next one was a Home Base. There's many others. It's just brands have been there for years. Some disappear. If that's, I guess, as a leader, maybe I'll say not under my watch. I'm not going to lose this brand whilst I'm managing this company, right? But deep down, it could happen to any of us if we don't pay attention to what it means to be effective, efficient, and adaptive. What it means to be great and do great things. The company would just sink, and our business would sink. And then we'll blame it on circumstance when it's really our choices that we've made. Anyway, Tobaloba, look, if anyone who's tired, simple trick for this room: stand up. Just do it. If I sat down, Tobaloba, I'd be asleep a long time ago. I promise you. And I love a good nap, right? So that's why I stand up, because I can't sleep standing up. I haven't tried it yet.
Immediately I spoke, I feel better.
Excellent.
No,
excellent. Coach Ashif, it's a great book, and it's a small book at that, right? So do check out the book. Good to great. So Marlene says the greatness comes when you reach and rise from a challenge. I agree, but I think there's a way to construe that. I take that to mean you're gonna have tremendous moments on your road to greatness. Moments where you have catastrophes. That's what we call it, right? Big things that go so wrong that you think I'm done. And you find that I'm not done. That's how you rise from those. I agree. How you rise from those whilst carrying on. Tobaloba, there's one point I want to pick up on what that you said. So I agree. We're not all going to achieve greatness, but I think we all can.
We all can.
That's it. We all can. We have to choose to face ourselves, look at ourselves in the mirror, be brutally honest with ourselves, and also build a team. Now, the things we talked about today, most of the tips and the points Jim Collins makes are in the comments. Do have a look, right? Have a look and truly think. Again, Marlene's point is valid here. Greatness takes off when you reach a high point and reach out to help others. It's reach out to help others. It's a serving bit, right? That's why I said greatness is not for us to judge, for others to judge. And we have to keep serving people more and more and more and more, day by day, year by year. When you will stop serving people more and more, we'll stagnate. And if you stop in business, you're as good as dead, because now others are going to come past you. That's a quote. But Marley, I think you're right? It is about reaching out. It's about helping others and creating better. Maybe this is part of the answer to Alex's question. Is greatness for the moment, for the season, or is it longer than that? I think it's about giving people the solution they need right now, better solution than other people. That's why we're in business. That's what greatness will look like. If we can keep adapting, as you say, Coach Ashif, right? Keep adapting, keep being effective, keep being efficient, keep being the manager of our team, keep being the leader of ourselves. That does bigger, greater things. That does the right things all the time. That's how we achieve greatness. Mr. Michael, are you still there? Everyone's desperate to hear your voice and your take on our topic.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Perfectly.
Oh, okay. Let me just. I've been up more than 13 hours already, so
wow.
I'm kind of just like topple over, drunken with pending sleep.
Drunken with tiredness.
Oh, indeed.
You just have to learn how to have a nap.
When you're working, there's no such thing. And with me, once I'm up, most of the time I work and then come back after that. That is when, when I go to sleep. And that's why I go to sleep early. That's why I purposely go to sleep early because it gives me so many hours to sleep. I can sleep more than 9 hours if I wanted to, or 10 hours. That will help me catch up with and help me recover. And and knowing that and actually achieving that, I find that I find myself to be great. That's that's how I look at things right now. Um, Being great means achieving the small tasks that are necessary for you to continue living into tomorrow so that you can continue pursuing greater tasks or tasks that make you even greater. But it's because you're always pursuing them every time you incrementally are great, completing the tasks, helping everybody else move on, not only just yourself, but everybody else. It's not just for me, it's for everybody else. Keeping others in forethought when you achieve your tasks. And that's what I live for. I give the best to the best from the best. That is my mantra and that is my activity. I was thinking a while back about old Jim, and over here, old Jim is a whiskey. It's a whiskey bottle.
Oh, Jim Beam.
Jim Beam, there you go, my friend. You're very familiar with it, and I figured that that's what you were talking about. Jim Beam. I understand that you are a whiskey lover, so huh, old Jim would be something that you'd be familiar with. And I thought that was kind of interesting the way you carved that into your speech. Really, really loving that whiskey. And you don't know which one is your favorite, but it seems like old Jim comes close. Okay, in terms of feeling great, or in terms of greatness, I have many questions. And the first one would be, what makes great better than good? And how about if you were to compare it to being excellent? That's just a question I pose for you. I pose this because I need to pose it to Alexis. She's a wordsmith, so she may have some ideas. I came at it originally at the beginning, and I did post this. I indicated that I feel great. I came back home, I feel great. My housemate also came back home. He came back home early, and he did not look great. He actually felt awful. So I figured that, the difference between how I felt and how he felt was emotional. My emotions were high, I go back home, I'm great. His emotions were low, he went straight to bed. Straight. He said, I got back, I quit work, and I came back home early, and I just don't feel good. And he collapsed in bed, and now he's gone. And I'm not going to see him until I probably come back tomorrow from work. All right? I feel that the biggest problem, okay, what did I write down here? Oh, the biggest problem in a team is when a member of the team is being an emotional drag upon the members of the rest of the team, because their emotions propagate and override other people's emotions. And if most of the team comes in feeling great, and he comes in feeling awful and really, down to earth, and starts, for instance, throwing a fit because his day has just gone all wacky, and he's just really become and he just has a very foul mood. So everybody else begins to get into a foul mood. Everybody else, quietens down. They cower into their little, into themselves. And they do not propagate this feeling of greatness around, but it's his feeling that just overrides everybody else's. And a team that is not feeling great cannot do great things, will not go to that next level. So I'm thinking that in terms of greatness, emotions are the very thing that control how great we feel or how great we become, or what kind of greatness, or it's kind of like a measure of the kind of greatness that we're going to be able to accomplish at the end of the day. And we'll be able to know that at the beginning of the next day. Because it's when we wake up and we find that we are beginning a new day, we remember what's went on in the last day. And we say, what happened in the last day? And can we find, and are we going to find fixes to whatever happened in the last day, today, if they were not so great, so that we can make a better day? I think realistically, that's the time frame that we have in terms of greatness, measuring greatness, and identifying how well we can do. And that's about all I got to say for the time being. I do hope that you feel like you got something about how you can dictate and measure greatness in your life, from what I just said. But everybody else also had some great points. So I'm assuming that, collectively, I'm hoping that we all had some impact. To the folks who are listening. And I'm listening to everybody, and everybody did have some measure of impact on me, especially Alexis. I did have some. That's why I asked that question earlier, because she made me think about those questions. Plus Annie as well. Thanks.
No, thank you. You've made some great points as well. To everyone who contributes to our conversations, we'll add something. That's why I always do that thank you post at the end. When I say thank you, what I do is straight away, months or weeks, years later, I'll still give a thank you because I truly appreciate all your input. And Michael,
I'll be remiss to say, hello, Cyrus. How you doing, Mr. Phenomenal?
Hi, Michael. How's it going, mate? You're right.
Romance continues, right?
I'm sorry. I'm just a little sleepy and everything, so I'm not really there. But
have a nap. Have a I can still 10-minute naps. The reason, if you give me 5 minutes to sit down, and then my next is half an hour, I can have a nap. I can literally have a nap, wake up refreshed, and then carry on my day.
I'm looking forward to the movie. So if you brought one in, Annie, let's see it so that I can take a nap right after that.
You know what, Annie? It was halfway through one of my. I think it's my bad luck, isn't it? Halfway through one of my live events, Michael fell asleep.
He's done. I've done it before.
Mate, I was like, I did not know what to do. How should I signal? How should I send him a signal? And honestly, I did think of smoke.
He's asleep.
Honestly, I did think of sending a smoke signal. Honestly, because he was on his phone. He was on his phone halfway through, and I was telling him a story, and the story that it was the first story I wrote, right? So I was reading that story, and he fell asleep.
Yeah. You've never heard Cyrus tell a story, right? And when you tell the story, I mean, it's so beautiful. That voice was just like,
Listen,
just wow.
Michael, that traumatized me so badly. I never told that story elsewhere. And that story now comes with a warning. So when I finish the audiobook for that, I'm gonna start it with a warning. If you're driving, please do not listen to this story.
Please stop now.
I tell you, Cyrus, if you were to sell your voice to people who have sleep apnea or amnesia,
Michael,
whatever it is, they're struggling with it,
I've
you would
been
make a lot of
called
money.
Michael, I've been called boring in different languages in different ways, but this was a genius way of calling me boring. I loved it.
Cyrus, get over it, my friend.
Cyrus, you are boring in
I'm
a
joking.
very
I'm joking.
interesting way.
I'm only joking.
No,
I
look,
just
no,
I just wanted to put a smile on your faces, guys. That's
yeah,
all.
nice. I say, no, literally, there's nothing worse than me falling asleep on my own show because I snore. So you all know I'm asleep, right? I think I think we rely on the host to save us when many people falling asleep on shows. Many people, so when I'm the host, what I do first thing is I basically mute them and take them off stage. Before anyone realizes. That's why I'm so so hot on looking at my screen to see what's going on. And sometimes you should be it don't take someone to just nod and then they'll scream. They're like, "Oh, what happened there?" I'm like, "You fell asleep, so I took you off stage." Like, I wasn't asleep. I'm like, we were getting there, right? Let's address Michael's points and say I'm keen to know if anyone has a thought between difference between good, excellent, and great. Personally, I would take excellent out of that and say good and great read. But we'll come back to that in a second. So the point Michael made about the emotional employee who can the rotten apple in the barrel, so to speak. Again, Jim Collins talks about this, right? He speaks a lot about to achieve greatness, we need to focus on who we employ, who we recruit. Not, we tend to focus on what, job descriptions and, all those things that we would want them to do, right? And he's saying recruit the right people and let them be. You give them a playing field. Like that, this is what a level 5 manager does, a level 5 leader does, right? You don't micromanage them. You let them use their genius. And those people will be happier, self-disciplined, and they'll work better, right? And whereas what we try and do, which kills our path to greatness through our teams, we try to micromanage, we try to motivate them with money, we try to do silly things that put them off. So the emotional employee is not the employee's fault, Michael. It's our fault as leaders. This is where any struggles, hook, line, and sinker. If you're that employee, I'm going to fire you. I don't care who you are. I don't care how great you think you are, how great I think you are. I'd rather pay the price because I don't like rotten apples in my barrel. But Jim Collins says it's a better way, Annie. Learn a better way. Be a better leader, Annie. Create a culture of people who buy into what you want them to do, but to create a culture where people can work their best. Again, I don't know, Sean. I'm wondering, does this mean laissez-faire management? That's what it sounds like to me. No, Sean, you shake your head. I can see you shaking your head, right? I think it's a dangerous place to go.
I wonder how if you went and for instance, how would you feel about you going into a workplace, you being the employee, and your employer, you're trying your very best, doing what you can, and you really want to work at that place, but your employer just thinks, no, you just did a small thing. I don't care. I'm going to get rid of you. How would you feel about that, Annie? Would you say he was justified?
You want to answer?
Yeah.
In truth,
Annie, who are you?
Okay, right. So I could answer it in many ways. Has it happened to me before? Of course it has. Is it the wrong thing to do? Maybe, right? Again, this comes down to who I am in terms of what I'm aligned with, right? If I buy into the cause, then employers don't tend to fire me because I do a lot more than everyone else. I go above and beyond. And I talked about creating pockets of greatness in whatever you do. That's how I live, right? So, if someone fires me, I just think, you know what, you're lost. And I'll go and create my genius somewhere else. I'll go and help someone else build their dream. Yeah, but look, no, I would say this. I raised the point because there is a human side to this conversation. I know what the books say about motivation, about recruitment, about management. I seriously, I can bring the books off my shelf if you want. I passed all the exams at degree and masters. But applying it to that emotional employee, Michael, is a whole different. That's a whole different problem, right? When I say I fire them all, it's only a few times. I haven't done it 100 times. I mean, I've employed 20 people. Maybe I fired 20 for different reasons. Sometimes it's my limitations. I can accept this, and I'm going to have to learn from Jim Collins that I need to get better and manage. No, it's not managing I need to get better at. I need to employ the right people in the first place. I need to build the right team. That's what I need to do better. Now, because I know what look, they come for an interview, you pick who you like, who you get on with. My coach even told me, you don't have to like them any. Don't employ who you like. Employ who's got different skills to you. I don't like doing numbers. She goes, I employ people who do numbers then. I'm like, no, I have to like them. I have to spend my life with them. Every day I spend time with them. So I'm not going to employ someone I don't like. And each time I do that, I cack up. I screw up. And as soon as I employ them, I'm like, oh, fuck, it's the wrong person. I'm just being like, this is my problem, right? Hopefully that answers your question, Michael. Sean, please. I can see you have something to add to this part of the conversation, please.
So I want to borrow something from Alexis because I like Alexis. I hone in on words. So we hear right people. What does that mean? Right? We have to be clear on what are right people. Some might say, the impressive resume, the long list of skills and talents, like your numbers guy. He's really good with numbers. He's got the track record to show it. He's got the confidence, or she's got the confidence. The person who comes in and like, yeah, when I work, confidence entices, right? If you get someone who comes in to interview and they're confident, it will outperform someone with a long resume full of skill who's shaken like a mouse.
Yes.
I would say the right people are internally motivated, and this ties into Collins. They're self-disciplined. They don't need constant supervision to maintain discipline. They're honest about what's really going on. They don't sugarcoat things. I was going to say earlier, the most successful people that have coaches, they love their coaches because their coaches are the only ones who aren't going, yes, boss, yes, boss, yes, boss.
Yeah.
A lot of the higher up you go, you get a lot of people that are like, yep, great idea. Yeah, let's do it. This one's key. The right people take responsibility when it's necessary, right? If they screwed it up, they own it. And to go back to what Ashif said, they're able to learn and adapt. They don't need to be pushed. They don't need to be coddled. You put them in place and get out of their way, and they will do it. Now, finding those people can be challenging. The other thing is getting people on the bus is one thing. You got to make sure you put them in the right seats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Make sure you're assigning them to the right task where they can really shine, not just kind of be good enough.
Yeah.
Oh, he does it good enough, which leads right into your other question. Good, excellent, great. Good is average. Good is enough.
Yes.
It's, okay, he's good.
You survive. You survive for a bit.
Right. Great, I would say, is not great. Excellent. Sorry, I want to go to excellent. Excellent, it's the person who exceeds expectations on their performance review all the time. They make refinements. They can refine their skills. They can refine systems. They do this system revamp and save the company $50 million or whatever, and take pride in performance. Those people that are excellent, they're often admired, and they're also tired because they're running around doing everything. I saw it in my wife for a long time. She was excellent. She went above and beyond. She got hired in the department because she was doing the above and beyond excellence on the call center. And they brought her into training, and she had a manager who stopped and said, wait, whoa. Let me see your project list. She looks at it. She's like, you don't take another project until you get this all done. Not one. I don't care who comes in here and says, I want you. You cannot take any more work. You need to focus on this and get this done. Because she was so busy being excellent. Great. We talked about it before. Alignment, regardless of pressure, right? They can hold their standards. They have standards and they protect them. They stay true to who they are. Even and especially when it's going to cost. And I was thinking of one of the companies Collins looked at in the book was Wells Fargo, listed as one of the greats because they had a lot of success because they hired the right people, they put them in the right places. But they something shifted, and they went from being a great to getting in trouble because employees were being pushed too hard on sales quotas. So they were creating accounts for customers, and the customer's getting a credit card in the mail. They're like, I didn't apply for a credit card. So we saw a rise during when Collins reviewed them, and then later they fell because they didn't stick with the principles that Collins outlined, right?
I say, you got the idea, Sean. You got the idea. I said, I'm glad you got there in the end. Just having the point is, we can all be like Wells Fargo. There's other companies you mentioned, of course. Collins' research was based on something 980 combined years of data. Companies that operated for 980. That's nearly 1,000 years. And across that data, 11 companies, had more than 1,000 years worth of data, right? And only a handful meets the criteria for great. Yes, Collins used, Jim, as Michael calls him, used longevity, revenue generation as part of his markers for good. But I suppose for me, it's more about longevity matters, right? Alexis made a point earlier. We can, and Sean said it as well. We can all do things for a short period of time. We can sprint. That's not going to serve more people over the long term. And then I'm thinking even in Sarah's language, and if you want to build a brand, the brand has to live for generations. That's a real conversation, Michael. Are we creating a brand that's going to last and serve, over time? Again, Alexis mentioned the question: quality over quantity, quantity over quality. What's important? I say it's both, and Jim Collins took the same view. It's both. It's doing the right things for long enough, with the right leaders and the right people in the right places, as you said, Sean. Right, but we have to do it over a long time. That's why when I said 20 years is a marker, that we can begin to talk about now. Even thinking that we've got something that we can call close to doing great things. Even then, look, companies they implode. Wells Fargo, you mentioned. So we've seen in the UK, companies have lasted for years, just suddenly implode. And you think, how could that happen? This is it people, it's the leaders they have, the people they have, who suddenly, over time have grown bored. They've become less aligned, less recruited in the way that it used to be, less managed the way it used to be, less supervised the way that it used to be. Again, that comes down to us as leaders. It's our job to keep everyone on track. Go on, Sean.
And old Jim pointed out in Good to Great that greatness is fragile and conditional, and it's not permanent. You have to keep working on it. You have to keep continuing with the discipline, the integrity, the principles. And I don't know if you know it, but he wrote a follow-up book called How the Mighty Fall. Yes.
Okay. I've seen it. And I say, I'll probably read that next. And I've seen it. What can we learn from it? What can you give us from How the Mighty Fall?
Well, I haven't read it.
Right.
But, he's looking at, I believe, companies or other, like companies like Wells Fargo, but the overview says he explores the 5 stages of decline that causes these companies to fall. Because I said it earlier in a comment, right? A lot of what this book is teaching is good leadership, great leadership and great company operation. It's not about circumstances, right? They make the right decisions and operate from the right principles to become great. As soon as that drifts, it's a slippery slope down the mountain.
Yeah. You're doomed. In his favorite word, like you say, if I suppose if the standards slip, if the mask slips, if you haven't been that person, those people doing the right things, thinking the right things, with the right intention.
And Microsoft comes to mind. I don't know that Collins covered them, but we saw Microsoft rose to great success, and they were losing it. They were on the downhill. And they changed, and they brought Satya Nadella in, and he shifted the culture in the company from know it all to learn it all. He didn't just say, "Oh, our new company culture is this." Like, he modeled it and expected, and it carried out through the company, and he brought the company back out of the valley.
Yes. So this is where the conversation, Alexis' question, Michael's questions, come in, because many of us, we think some of these companies are terrible, right? We still think they're shysty. We just do. Because Microsoft, they've all got models which generate more revenue. Even if the Wells Fargo sending you credit cards that you never applied for, Microsoft taking your subscription money, even though they know we don't really want to subscription. I say, we can argue about the fine details. Let's not do that, right? I think maybe some of the best companies I've seen are financial companies, the ones that last years, generations. Some of them you never heard of.
Right.
But they keep making money for their clients. They keep making money for clients, and they keep at that high standard. Where they don't suddenly lose money 1 year. It doesn't happen because they have the processes of the people, and maybe the leaders are of a certain kind. We can talk about this all day, sure, but let's not, right? Let me let you log on, have your evening. So 2.5 hours is long enough for us.
Gotta get my sunbathe.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So, please, Kathy, you're here. I appreciate you. If anyone who gives me a minute of your time, I'm genuinely grateful. So all my amazing speakers, Cyrus, Alexis, Michael, of course you, Sean. Sean's not in the studio. That conversation is never quite the same, right? Look, do go through the comments. Some of them say the main points in Jim Collins' book are there. I'm going to go and read that book, How the Mighty Fall. So I want to know now. Maybe that's one thing for us to take away to be a part of being great is let's be curious. Let's be curious to learn, curious to be better. What does that mean? Let's find a way, right? And Marlene, you said, be frank with yourself, give yourself feedback. I agree with you entirely. If we're not, we're not going to last long. We're just not. It's not going to happen, right? Look, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Christmas, not weekend, yes, enjoy your Christmas when we get there. This will be the last one before Christmas, but when we come back, right? Listen, I said, maybe I will bring that, the first one being, what does greatness really mean? What does it mean to you? And how you apply that? And I've got many more topics in mind, Sean. How are you using your pain? It's one of my topics. And how are you using your success? It's another one. It excites me to know I've got topics for nearly half the year already. My friends, do enjoy. So I'm going to leave us with Cyrus's video. There's a book in you. So of course, anyone who's watching the replay, anyone who's here, connect with my friends. Connect with Sean, connect with Michael, connect with Alexis, connect with Cyrus, connect with Victoria who's here, connect with who else do I see? Dr. Yvonne. So do connect. Who else do I see? So Belogo was here as well, right? So do connect with them. Coach David joined us for a bit, right? So I will go through the comments and see what I can answer in there. But do enjoy, and thank you so much for spending your time with us. Take care, everyone. Take care. Take care, everyone.
Why wait for someday? 'Cause nobody will call. The words inside you could change it all. Sit down and write it. Don't try to fight it. Your truth is a spark. Go on, ignite it. Order your thoughts. Make chaos sing. Turn your pain into something that'll bring hope to many, light to a few. 'Cause there's a book in you.